Hello everybody, I am currently on the hunt for the most exciting, the most fun dad car you can buy for £10,000 or less. I was originally looking for a luxury dad car, but having recently bought this cheap Alfa Romeo V6 Range Rover for my wife, look, we don't need two luxury cars on the drive. And so in this video, I'm going to be asking for some help from a couple of my friends, a couple of experts when it comes to used exciting performance dad cars. My good friend Ash, who is head tech over at Exotic and Supercar, which is where I'm actually on my way to at the moment, because Ash is going to be the one who's handing me the maintenance invoices on my next car purchase. And we're also going to be joined by my good friend Joe, who some of you may remember from such episodes as, oh my God, how much did that guy spend on his Maserati Gran Turismo? Is he mad? So 3 dads who are used car shopping to decide what's going to be my next car for £10,000 or less. And I've just seen one of my picks in front of me on the road here. Come on, let's get into it. My name's Ben. Welcome to Dadcars. Right, so thanks for helping me out, guys. I appreciate it, okay? And I am in need of help as well, because obviously I sold my wonderful, much loved Grand Sport, and I used that money to buy my wife a Range Rover. And currently, at time of recording, I've got an X5 and a Range Rover sat on my drive, and it's genuinely affecting my mental health just seeing that every day.
This is the guy that always says he didn't want SUVs. In fact, Ash, when you first spoke to Ben, what did he say to you about SUVs?
He didn't want to drive my mum's new Mercedes 4x4 because he would slag it off and hates SUVs.
You did offer me to drive that, and I said, I'm sorry, I don't like them when I slag it off. No, it's true, right? But anyway, look, I'm selling the X5. As soon as the X5 is sold, I've then got £10,000 to spend on my next dad car. And potentially, because we've now got the Range Rover, which I hate to admit, it's actually quite nice to drive.
What was that, sorry?
Huh? What was that?
What was that?
I didn't hear it. So anyway, like, I don't mind driving it at weekends, okay? So when we're all together, I don't mind driving it. So I think 2+2s are back on the menu.
Okay.
I think 2+2s are back on the menu. So you've had some time to think about some cars. You've got potentially 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You've got 2 or 3 maybe, and I've got a few as well. So Ash, let's start with one from you.
I love a Mercedes 190.
Mercedes 190?
Yep.
Okay, right.
It's a little bit left field for you. I know it's not Italian.
I would like a C63 or an E63.
Yep.
But a bit of a struggle at 10,000, aren't they? Okay. Now, you see, I like those wheels.
Yeah, but it's got.
That's the wheels,
Are
right?
they
That's the wheels.
the monoblock wheels?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, those wheels are amazing.
I just think you're the coolest dad rocking up at that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good shout. I would love to review one of these.
Do you not think, though, it's like the C-Class of its era? I'd much prefer the SEL.
No, I don't know. It's just
The SEL 500 or 560 would be, in my opinion, a bit cooler than that.
Is that say Cosworth as well?
Which one? Yeah, Cosworth.
Cosworth. So it's got the right engine. It's not the colour I'd go for, but change the wheels on that.
Yeah, the wheels aren't.
I think that is.
That is an exceptionally cool dad car,
yeah.
isn't it? That is very cool. Now, the reason that took me by surprise is I must admit, whenever I search for Mercedes, I always just like minimum 5.5 litre engine or above.
Right,
That's what I always look at.
Yeah, that colour, them wheels, that for me is cool. It'd be a bit cheeky offering £6.5 less than he's got up for.
Do you reckon I should call up this guy and offer
Shrewd negotiation there.
I would say, hope he's a fan.
Yeah, call up. Oh, hi there, yeah. Do you watch the Dadcars channel?
Would you do a trade deal on this?
It's got, what's it got, leather seats?
Straight swap for an Aventine.
It's got leather seats.
Yeah, look, it's got license.
Kid friendly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I must just say though, I mean, Mercedes from that era, like the turn of 1990, safety won't be that great.
No.
But, you know, 90% of the miles are done in a Range Rover now. So I do think it
that is a
cool
looking car, holding its value.
Yeah, no, look, it's a good shout. I genuinely would not have looked at those.
So to continue the theme of Mercedes, I'm going to present one too.
But just quickly, before we find out what Joe's first pick is, an important reminder that I won't be even going to see any of these cars without running a car vertical check on them first, because it's essential to make sure that what the seller is telling you about their car matches up with the reality on the Car Vertical Report. In today's video, we're surrounded by some incredible Italian dream cars. So let me show you a report I found on my dream car, a Ferrari FF. Look, as you can see there, it's got an amber warning for damage. So if we scroll down to the pictures, oh blimey, yeah, look at that. That has been in a horrible crash. You can see it's had both front end and rear end damage. Oh, I mean, I can't afford a Ferrari FF, nowhere near, but if I was looking to buy one, doesn't matter how cheap this one would be, I would be staying well away from it. So a Car Vertical Report makes sure it's not been crashed in the past, but also checks if it's been stolen or clocked. And in actual fact, I love checking the odometer readings, because if I'm looking to buy, you know, a depreciated high-end performance car for £10,000, if the odometer chart shows that it's been sat around and not done many miles whatsoever in the last couple of years, you know, that's a car which I would handle with caution as well. So before you even go and view that next car purchase that you're thinking about, make sure you run a Car Vertical Report on it first. And like I say, make sure what the seller tells you matches up with what's on the report. And what's even better is that if you use my promo code Dadcars, you can save 20% off. So a massive thank you to Car Vertical for sponsoring the Dadcars channel and my Trading Down series. Right, let's get back to the unit and find out what other exciting cars I can afford to buy for £10,000.
Old school Mercedes, wafty, and then this spec, this colour, I think would be absolutely perfect. So the Mercedes 500 SL.
Okay, yeah.
2+2. Okay, the rear seats are questionable. They're barely seats. However, as a car, as a spec, this particular car as well, what an absolutely gorgeous colour and spec.
Yeah.
Now, a very minute, small amount of haggling. Look at the interior of that.
I have to admit that is, it reminds me of some of the Esprits. They used to have sort of like, you know, those types of interiors, didn't they?
Well, I mean,
that is cool, right?
That is cool. You can't see no carbon, but
one of my favourite cars, and actually one I'd love to say, let's get that as a £10,000 car. Unfortunately, they're now more expensive than that. But the Fiat Uno turbos, the cloth interior, the pattern to it. I mean, okay, this is green, but this is
That's
gorgeous.
very cool. Let's have a look again at the outside. That is a very, very, very cool car. Right, so do you want one of mine now then? Wow, very topical. You pulled up in today, reversing. Well, I thought you were reversing, but it's tough to tell with your
Just
silly
for clarity,
Boxster.
I had the opportunity to purchase a Boxster S, which is known for being a 986 Boxster S, which is known for its handling and the great driver's car. So I thought, what a great opportunity to buy it just before winter.
Yeah.
It's got no oil leaks.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing. You've checked it out, Ash, haven't you?
Yep.
No, we just saw the underside of it, and
Ash confirmed there was no rust underneath at all.
Oh, it is.
Is there any rust
there's
underneath?
no rust because it's covered in oil and CD grease.
Oh, it's just,
So I bought myself a fixer-upper. So no, back to your Porsche.
It's a bit of a fixer-upper. Right, yeah, so on the subject of Porsche, and also if I did get one of these, and you still had that, I would be able to say to you, oh, why didn't you get a proper Porsche? Oh, could you not afford a 911?
I know exactly what it is.
Because it is effectively that car from like the dash forward.
Actually, no, it's from the hips. I believe it's from the back of the seats forward. The bulkhead effectively behind you, forward, is the same car, if we're thinking of the same car.
And I think we are thinking of...
Don't say you're looking at a Tiptronic, though. There's
No, of course not. It's not an option. A 996 manual.
Good.
And I do think in this current market, you'll be able to get one for 10,000. Now, there is one in which I think it might have gone.
That's disappointing.
I don't think I've got it anymore. Yeah, that's annoying. It must have sold. Basically, there was a cab.
Yeah.
Which I've never been a fan of 996, 997 cabs. I don't think they look very good. 991, they kind of got it working. But anyway, it looks like it's gone, but it had a bright red dog lipstick interior. And
My favourite.
Black on the outside, manual.
My favourite.
But let's look at a different one, for example.
One in budget would be nice.
Yeah, well, look, I think people need to take offers. I think people need to be open to offers. Let's look at this. Yeah, this is the one, right. Oh, it's a Tiptronic one. Oh, that's annoying. But look, that's an example of a colour that I'd like. Proper fried eggs, and this turquoise colour. And all you'd want is like a purple. Oh no! Look, it's gone.
That's horrendous.
No,
who specced that car?
Honest to God, right? If this was a manual, I would buy that car.
Can you imagine how much his beard would clash with that car?
You wouldn't even have to stick a Dadcars sticker on that to know it's Benz.
Well, look, it's kind of like the lights have got little ginger beards on them, haven't they? Right, so look, I've filtered it now. Now I'm looking at the Carrera 4s and manuals only. And look, there are a couple there which are 10,000 and something.
Achievable.
But the one that I like the look of is this one here. Look, so it's 14,000, so I know it's over budget. But look at the interior.
It just, no.
That would go
That's
with
not
your
even,
beard.
that's not even dog lipstick, that's terracotta, isn't it?
No, that looks to me like full-blown dog lipstick, I would say, that. But I
I think it works. I do think it works.
It does look good, doesn't it?
I think it works.
That 456 is in a very similar colour scheme to
That's
this.
Bordeaux.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. It's got to have something about it, a bit of contrast, something
Something
different.
a bit different.
It's not bland.
I don't want silver with black interior, like literally the most boring spec ever.
You know why I bought that car. I didn't spec it. Look, my Gran Turismo has got a tan interior. In fact, matching your beard very well.
Well, okay,
lovely
look,
exterior.
on the subject of the Gran Turismo, let's just get out of the way now, guys. We know why we're here, really. You're going to surprise me. Joe's going to sell me his Gran Turismo for £10,000.
Well, actually, it's funny you say this.
Honestly, this is such a moment. I can't thank you guys for completely.
It's kind of a minute.
Thank you.
That's why I bought the Porsche to replace the Gran Turismo. He's giving you.
You know
I know
what?
he's
Having
tired.
friends like you
He's becoming deluded.
10,000.
It's
Tell you what, 10,000 and the Aventime. Oh, that
Whoa.
guy.
Snap his hand off.
Hang on. Who do you think you are? Auto Alex? Sorry, Mike Brewer.
Either or. Yeah.
I've told you. If it included the van with £10,000 of toys in the van and the Aventime
by the time
and 10,000.
By the time this video goes out, the Vito's already sold. So
I know. I'm impressed with what it's up to.
right, Ash, what's your next one?
I was thinking Alfa, sort of V6.
Yeah. Which one?
Which one?
What are you thinking? A GT?
A Brera.
No,
A Brera? What, are you thinking a proper Busso or the GM?
I'd have to go for the Busso.
The GT, I think,
There's
is the
quite
one
a few,
that
depending
speaks to
on
me
spec,
the most.
Depending on what car I'd want.
Yeah, let me bring up a GT.
We've got aircon. We should know now. Come on, done. Sorry. Exotic and Supercar can do your air conditioning.
So if you look here, for example, look comfortably, 6,700, 82,000 miles on the clock. Has that got a red interior as well? What would be the chances of that?
I've got to say, I've always been a fan of the
red
GTs.
interior. Look, red interior.
Do you know what's always put me off these cars? And actually, BMWs do this a lot unless you get the extended leather. It's the seats are red, the door cars are red, the rear seats are red, the rear door cars are red, but the lower part of the dash isn't. It breaks it up so much.
It makes sense why the upper part of the dash isn't red.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you get terrible glare.
Yep.
But no, look, I think you can forgive this. This is of an era. Like, that's all just like plastic.
Well, back to my point, the Mercedes. Mercedes are terrible at this as well. They've got gorgeous interiors, but they don't do the bottom part of the dash.
Oh, yeah, most Mercedes are black interiors, aren't they?
Well, yeah, because
Very rare
they're
that you get
rep,
anything else.
rep spec.
But this is a car that I've been looking at quite a lot, and I think is quite cool. But I'm thinking, because the next step in the trading down series is £5,000, and I reckon it'd be possible to get one of these for £5,000.
Yeah, I
See
don't
that just a little bit lower. Just give it a bit more of a better stance. I think would.
And that's got
It just needs that sign. It's got the right engine. The interior's nice. It just needs that little bit of.
I think though this pulls you into
something.
the same problem as most petrol heads have. You'll view that and go, okay, that's currently up for 7,000. Is that what it says?
6,700. So 6,000.
£6,500.
A lot of car.
It's a lot of car, but there's a lot of other cars and potentially better cars you can get for your money, like a silver box to rest.
God, you're not gonna. This is the Dadcars channel, right? We don't care about two-seaters on this channel. I drove a Scuderia on this channel recently.
Yeah.
And it got like a tenth of like normal views.
That's because the whole time you're in there, it's going,
Yeah, I was
listen to that.
Yeah, I was just enjoying myself, to be honest. Right, okay, yeah, no, look, an Alfa Romeo is a great shout. And the 147 GTA that I recently reviewed on the channel, I really loved it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And that, I put a little clip of that on Instagram and it got 11 million views.
To date.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
There's a couple of different older Alphas for that money that I think sort of have the right engine.
100%. No, yeah, I think I want a Busso engine as well, but I think I'll get an Alfa at the £5,000 step. I think. But I will 100% get an Alfa, and you'll be able to look after it for me, won't you?
Definitely.
You know your way around a Busso, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And when you get to the 15, £1,500 mark, you can get a Boxster.
Yeah, well, when I go below 5,000, the next step will be like £1,000, just to make the point of that you can. There's.
You should do stand up or sit ups.
Right, Joe, what's your next one?
You can't overlook for a £10,000 budget one we haven't spoken about yet. A Bentley Continental GT.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a really good shout. It's a very good shout. And in actual fact, have you got an example you can show us? And while you're getting that up and ready, in actual fact, before I bought the Range Rover, top of my list was a Continental Flying Spur.
Yep.
I was genuinely really close to buying one. But since I've got the Range Rover, I suddenly think, actually, Alfa Romeo V6 Range Rover and the Flying Spur on the driveway, they kind of be a bit pointless because I kind of got like two things that are quite similar. Do you know what I mean? They're like comfortable, floated down the road, tons of torque.
Yeah, agreed.
So that does maybe bring in the Continental a bit more because it's a little bit further away from the Range Rover.
So I found this one, which is in a gorgeous colour of white. Don't think it's the best colour for this car, but £11,500, a little bit of negotiation. I mean, this is at a dealer, so I think they are obtainable through other places.
Oh yeah, Christ.
Not a gigantic fan of the black wheels. However, it does prove that you can get a 6-litre W12 Bentley
100,000 miles as well. So, yeah.
Which proves they're reliable.
Okay, yeah. Well, they're definitely not reliable, and they're very, very hard to work on because there's no space, right, under the bonnet.
Sorry.
So you have to...
Are you saying it's like you know how to do it?
No, I don't know how to do it. But I've got my friend that will do it for me.
This is a guy, by the way, that we tested him over dinner a minute ago and said, what wheel is this from?
Yeah,
now, I'm not going to tell anybody.
I said it's not an F40 because it's newer than an F40, and then you started saying rah, 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 before I got a chance to say it's obviously an F50.
Was that an impression of me?
Yeah, that is. It's obviously an F50. Yeah, so look, the problem with the Continentals is that they have been dirt cheap for far, 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 far too long, and therefore the vast majority of them have been owned by people who have not looked after them properly. And for me, if I'm going to buy one for £10,000, the odds of me getting one that's not been looked after properly are like sky high. So that's why I would rule out a Continental for £10,000. Do you agree?
I like the white, to be fair, and with the black wheels
and the black interior. It's a bit.
That looks like a 60, 70 grand car.
Just to give
they
a bit.
still do look amazing.
They still
don't
do.
They?
And
when you see them in person,
a lot of presents.
They do look amazing.
A bit of a retort back to what you've just said.
Yeah.
We're looking at a really cool, fun dad car. So you are led by your heart, not your head. So to look at something like this, you have to go in with it with open eyes, a bit of emotion, an attachment to it. Otherwise, you end up in a Skoda Superb.
This is how you ended up.
Or the Skoda Yeti.
This is how you ended up daily in your Gran Turismo and spending how much you spent on it in the first 2 years.
Well, it took me a while to find a good garage. It took me a long time to find a really good garage.
Right, look, it's true. It's a good shout, and if we didn't mention that, then I think it would have been a failing. But I am not going to consider one of those because I do think it's just too high risk. I thought the Flying Spur was slightly less high risk because it attracted a different clientele. I think so.
I would have that over a Flying Spur, personally.
Would you? Yeah. Well, okay. Look, unless somebody comes to me and you hear about somebody. And like, oh yeah, look, this has genuinely been looked after really lovely. The dealer's just offered them 10 grand. They don't want to give it away, but they'll sell it to you for 10 grand. I would consider it, but I think it's very high risk. This one I reckon will be a bit of a shock for you guys. An Audi RS5.
Okay.
£10,000.
Most Audis in that RS range are a good car.
That'll be the 4.2 then, FSI V8.
V8, yeah.
So, is it not just a bit boring?
Are you not surprised that you can get an RS5 for £10,000 at the moment?
I mean, that wouldn't have been abused in any way, would it?
Look, go back about a year and these were like high teens. Look, let me show you an example. Okay, so the first one comes up as 6 grand, so there's a non-runner.
It's going well.
But look, there's one there of £10,490. I mean, it's 124,000 miles. But
look, people get too caught up on mileage.
I know, it's fine. Like the Grand Sport had high miles. If you've got stacks of paperwork, actually, I'd take a car which has been driven frequently and had money spent on it over a car that's been sat in a garage for years on end.
I look after a Ferrari 355 that's done 220,000 kilometres.
That's amazing.
Drives lovely.
Yeah.
But the service history in the file sort of backs that up.
Yeah, 100%.
It's more about the owner and the treatment.
Yeah. This is the one that I was looking at. Look, it's 11,900, but it's 2011, 78,000 miles on the clock. White, so you two were just saying how gorgeous the Continental was in white. What do you think of that?
I get it. Look, I know they're a good car, and look, it's a good-looking car. It just doesn't float my boat. Is it cool? That could be a 2-litre diesel, and no one would really know. Okay, yes, I know it's got the exhaust, it's got the wheels, slightly flared wheel arches, but it's just no.
You know, it just doesn't
do it for me.
That's interesting.
Okay, if you parked up at the supermarket or went somewhere and you looked at that, would you say that's a cool car?
See, I would, because I even like an S5. I really like an S5.
But compare that to the Bentley, or compare that to something special that looks special.
Yeah, no, it's true. But the rear seats in those are fantastic. They've got Isofix on the passenger side, if they're the same as the S5 of that generation.
It's a good Dadcar.
I reckon there'll be people watching this who are shocked that you can get an RS5 now for £10,000 potentially.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a good Dadcar, but if you want to go to your car shows and you want that feel, which I'm guessing like you had in your Grand Sport, is that going to bring you the same sort of feeling that your Grand Sport did? Because if you did, you might as well just buy a 4200.
Well,
10 grand.
Well,
8 grand.
In truth, I really want a C6 RS6, the V10. That's what I really want. But I mean, even if you bought one of those at like 12 grand, it's like such a huge gamble, because talking about cars that need the engine dropping, they need the engine dropping a lot, don't they?
They're very capable, they're very good.
Have you ever driven one?
No, but I'll go, they're very capable, they're very good. I'm sure they're great to drive.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're exceptionally emotive and very fast. But I just don't.
If I had a C6 RS6 and you were talking to me like this while sat in your Boxster,
we're judging me on a car that I effectively stole.
I would be a blur to you in that Boxster.
I don't disagree. And I'll be sat there
with the wind through his hair,
gleaming. Yeah, exactly. I'll be driving. You're just jealous because I could sit there with the wind flowing through my hair.
Yeah,
sorry guys.
It's true. This is true. Yeah, I could only get it through my beard.
Well, one thing I am surprised about is how many cars, when you actually look, you can get for 10 grand, and what you can actually get.
I'm just going to raise this. Sorry, viewers. I am going to raise this. Cars that you can get for under 10,000 that you didn't even do your homework. You haven't checked.
You've just shown me some.
About 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes ago, we were talking about, are we prepared for this? And he went, was I supposed to get some ready?
No, it's true, right? It is a mad buyer's market at the moment. Honestly, look, this is a big takeaway, I think. Like, honestly, right now, everything is so low. Well, like Gran Turismos. You've seen how cheap they're going for at the moment.
For me, if you walked to work and said, oh, by the way, I've just bought a Bentley Continental for 10 grand, what would their reaction be? People who don't know cars, they'd be like, you're lying.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. And I reckon there'll be loads out there for 10 grand you could buy. Most of them would be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, most of them you're spending 10 grand on them, but
yeah, but then we get to spend more time with our friend.
I've just done a search. And
shiggles.
Gran Turismos, the cheapest one's up £8,900, which there's got to be something wrong with that, right? Starts and drives fine.
However,
for loading purposes only.
Starts and drives fine, delivery possible. So obviously they just wanted to drop it off and just run away.
Is that 4.2? Yeah, 4.2.
Yeah, obviously.
What's the interior colour?
104 is probably black. Oh no!
Oh. You will be getting a call. Bang for buck, I don't think there's a better car on the market than a Gran Turismo.
Look at this. No, it's true. Look, I say pound for pound that the Gran Turismo is the coolest dad car you can get. Pound for pound.
And next year, you'll be saying the coolest sports car is a Boxster S.
I'll never say that. I'm sure they're great cars, all right? I'm sure they're great fun. And again, I'm sure
Just not got 4 seats.
You'll have some great selfish fun in that car. But look at this one, 12,500.
It's over budget.
TPS fault. I wouldn't be able to resist, even though I've just gone from a Grand Sport, I wouldn't be able to resist. If there was somebody who actually had, but I would want a 4.7. I would want a 4.7. You're not going to get that.
Okay, I'm going to suggest one more, okay? Just one more car.
Yeah.
And one car I'm surprised you haven't yet bought up, given that you've driven it on the channel.
Yeah.
You said you really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it's the poor man's Aston.
I swear, right, this was actually my third one. And I drove behind one on the way here, but XKR. Yeah. I saw a 5 litre. I'm not going to be able to find it now. See if you can find it. I think it was like 12 grand or 12.5 grand, a 5 litre XKR, a white one.
So this one isn't, but
Yeah.
as spec goes, for the 4.2 2006 XK,
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful spec. It's the earlier one, so it's got the slightly lesser interior, I think you could call it. However, I think it's aged very well. And look at the interior of that. Massive boot.
Yeah, look,
really good car, lovely colour.
Yeah.
The spec on this is lovely, it's beautiful.
Yes, yes, honestly, I would. And in actual fact, the 4.2 XK is enough. Amazing car, amazing sound, a lot of shove. But I would just want an XKR because I'm...
Champagne taste beer money.
Says Mr. Buy a Bentley Continental for 10 grand. Right, look, we could be talking all day long, couldn't we? I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think I should get for £10,000? What would you buy if you were feeling brave for £10,000 or less? Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks once again to Ash.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us here at
Supercar.
And thanks again to Joe for bringing us an eyesore to stare at throughout this whole video. And final thought as well, if anybody out there is about to trade in their exciting car and the dealer has given them like a shockingly low price, or they know somebody who's about to trade in their really cool car and they need to sell it, they're getting offered really low prices, I am looking to buy a car like this. So, please reach out to me. My email address is below, or send me a DM on Instagram or something like that. Thanks once again. Check out one of our other videos, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.